Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call this meeting of the Harrisonville Board of Aldermen to order. Would you please stand and recite the pledge of
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call, please.
Alderman Zarian.
Present.
Alderman Reese.
Present.
Alderman Davidson.
Present.
Alderman Turner.
Present.
Alderman Miller.
Present.
Alderman Dorhoff.
Present.
Alderman Milner.
Present.
Alderman Dickerson is absent. And Mayor Bowman.
Present. And for the record, Alderman Dickerson did contact me, so this will be an excused absence. Thank you. So we want to introduce a new staff member to you this evening, Mr. Rattler. Mr. Pollard. You want to introduce Mr. Pollard?
This is Andy Pollard. I started last Monday, and he's hit the ground running. We're glad to have him on board. He's an electric superintendent, and I'll let him give you a little background about himself and introduce himself a little bit to you.
My name is Andy Pollard. I go by Andy, not Anthony. My field name's Anthony. From rural West Tennessee. I came here from Florida. I've been doing electric superintendent or assistant electric superintendent position, engineering positions since 1995. I graduated college in 1993. Did a little stint in the military prior to going to college. Currently single, got two wonderful sons, both of which are getting me grandchildren. So I've been a grandfather now for 2.5 years. So about to be have another granddaughter. Any questions?
I'm just glad to have you on board.
Thank you. Welcome. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Andy. We want to welcome you to the city of Harrisonville. Okay, there are no ceremonial matters this evening. Mr. Rattler, did we have any agenda request forms for public participation?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on then to the approval of the minutes, and at this point I would ask you and the audience to please silence your cell phones. Up first is the approval of the minutes of the Board of Aldermen, the regular meeting of July 6th.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you. I have a motion from Alderman Dorhoff and a second from Alderman Reese. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Those minutes stand approved. The minutes of the Board of Aldermen work session, July the 6th.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Milner with a second from Alderman Davidson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Those minutes stand approved. Moving on to the agenda items, the 2020 destruction of records request. City Clerk Randy Jones, on the podium.
Mayor and Board, before you have the 2020 records destruction request. It's from all the departments within the city. It's just a matter of housekeeping. Each year we go through the state of Missouri retention schedule. We're able to clear out some of our files that are outdated, and all of the departments have submitted something. You'll see on in front of you there was one change in the municipal clerk's report. It's the highlighted. She changed the date. She had the wrong date on the original one that went out in the packet. So that's the only change. She did have Judge Anderson and Judge Collins review that after she made the corrections. So we just ask that you approve this record destruction request. Thank you.
Any questions for Randy from the board? Does the board have any thoughts? You want to go ahead and approve this destruction? It's not a resolution or anything, you just need to agree. I think everybody's shaking their head yes, Randy, so we'll make approval to the destruction of records for 2020.
Thank you.
Council Bill 32.
Council Bill 32, a resolution of the Board of Aldermen establishing an economic development incentives policy for the city of Harrisonville, Missouri.
Clark?
Economic Development Director Jim Clark coming to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. This evening I'm presenting a request for adoption of the economic development incentives policy that presented in the press home last meeting. Before I proceed, page 63 of the packet, I did notice a typing error on the date. So the Exhibit B, which is the targeted industries, was actually approved on December 14, 2010, not 2020. So we need to correct that to approve this evening. So, as expressed in my staff report, the documents being requested for approval is the policy itself, the incentive policy, and the preliminary funding agreement. The documents that are inserted as exhibits for enhanced enterprise zone do not need to be approved by the board as they were previously approved in the enhanced enterprise zone was designated. The preliminary funding agreement, I hope you had a chance to review that thoroughly. That's probably the document of focus this evening, as this is the first time you view that document and you may have questions or clarification on it. Otherwise, I don't really have much else to express.
Does the board have any questions of Mr. Clark? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Do we need to motion that the matter will change? Or does it matter?
Doesn't hurt.
Let's go ahead.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the change that Mr. Clark suggested and move forward with this.
Okay. All right, I have a motion from Alderman Milner with a second from Alderman Dorhoff to approve Council Bill 32 as amended, as noted on page 63 of the packet by Mr. Clark, to update the date of the approval of Exhibit B from December 14th, 2020 to December 14th, 2010. Did I state that correctly, Mr. Clark?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Council Bill 32 becomes Resolution 017. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Board.
Council Bill 33.
Council Bill 33, a resolution of the City of Harrisonville Mayor and Board of Aldermen adopting the 2020 multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan for the City of Harrisonville, Cass County, Missouri.
Chief Myler and City Planner Roger Crowe at the podium. Go ahead, gentlemen.
This is an effort that several of the department heads have been involved in. We've been working with 70 other jurisdictions through the Mid-America Regional Council to update the regional multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. This is done every 5 years. It entitles us to be, as a region, to be eligible for federal hazard mitigation funds. The goals are in several different, I'd say in several different categories: educational, capital, and educational capital, and educational plan and capital goals. This plan's updated every 5 years. It includes what's been accomplished over the last 5 years, and then it has goals going out for the region for the next 10 years. We're recommending approval in each jurisdiction that participated is also being asked to approve the plan.
Chief Myler, did you have anything to add to that?
Only thing it was is we've had this happen before in the past. They've been doing it ever since like 2005, with the exception of I think in early 2002 they didn't adopt it until 2011, but in 2015 they adopted it. And Chris Arthur and I went to a hazard mitigation meeting in Raymore around the mid-part of last year where they started developing and updating things due to the abundance amount of disasters that were happening in the area. They recommended that we do this on our level to be a part of it, mostly due to federal funding and FEMA's involvement. the floods in 2017 were a great indicator that we probably needed to update this plan to help us achieve some goals, and the whole main goal of the whole thing is to take care of things so they don't become potential hazards later on down the road. For example, dams, etc.
I noticed as I was looking at it that you did add the accommodation for the storm shelters in town. And you also included comments about the Army Corps of Engineers modeling study. So I appreciate the fact that you have all of those current things to this plan.
There was a lot of guidance on the part of Mark themselves and
Certainly.
council, because it was like the first time I heard of that mess, so I was kind of new to all of it. So it was a learning experience.
Good for you. Good for you. Well done. Questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I entertain a motion. All right, I have a motion from Alderman Miller with a second from Alderman Turner. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Council Bill 33 becomes resolution R018. Alderman's committee reports. I'll start with Alderman Davidson. Thank you. Alderman Miller.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Miller.
Well, Park Board meeting,
So you have nothing to say. Okay. I'll let Alderman Turner report then.
Okay, the park board, well, the staff did an exceptional job with the first tournament that we hosted, so much that they came back for a second tournament, and then we have another one in July. So that's a lot of unbudgeted revenue that we're gaining, which is great for us. Both tournaments, we paid about $25,000 revenue, so that really helped. Membership's down a little bit, under 4,000 first time last couple of years, we had a slight decline. They continue to treat both ways for the aquatic weed control, and so we're trying to tackle that still. The dog park has raised more than just now over 45,000. So I mean that's really exceeded everything. And their next meeting is July 30th. They plan to have an opening date after that meeting, hopefully by the end of summer. Maybe we should be able to open it, and then people can start to join it. And then we also have a golf tournament on July 24th, and the proceeds from that will also go to the golf tournament. And it helps. That's it.
Thank you. Alderman Reese.
Nothing.
Alderman Dorval.
Just want to thank everybody that came out to the town hall on Saturday, and especially our guest speaker, Chief Hofer, did a great job. We'll see you at the next one.
Alderman Nothing? Okay. All right. We'll move on to the report from the city administrator, Mr. Radler.
The Public Works Director is the engineer. We'll start tomorrow. Public Works we start tomorrow. And the study for Burns and Mac, the water and sewer rate study, is planned to be before you all on August 17th for the board meeting to go over that review. Also, a part of that, Ben Hart will be here to discuss the bonds and in conjunction with the rate, so that you all can move forward on that. I've already asked Ted to move forward with engineering design for Lake Lunan and City Lake, so that once we get the approval and move forward with bonds, that we're already ready to hit the ground running and not waiting too long, because we know the seriousness of it. Then we'll continue with with the meetings that are here, as the mayor pointed out, for this meeting. At least the next 2 meetings will be this location. Jeremy's been working with another company to get this room more suitable for meetings like this. As you all recall, that the COVID funds that require expenditures for these type of things. And so as we're doing this, we're also doing it back at the council chambers as well, and trying to get all of those improvements that are needed. some of the problems have been, as you all recall, everything has slowed down, and every time you order something, it seems to take extra time to get anything, just as a result of the COVID situation. So we'll keep moving forward with that. The mayor and I last week had one of the questions that the board had about the bonding and doing the improvements at the Walmart Distribution Center. Jim Clark sent an email to the Walmart Distribution Center, and we got an email back from them that there's no plans now or in the future to move that location. And the mayor and I, along with Kobe, met with the manager of Sat Brothers. They were indeed interested in connecting to the city sewer if we would run that line up through there, and actually wanted to make sure there was no burned bridges with the city from before, and the mayor assured them that there wasn't. And they are planning to have more corporate people contact me to set up an additional meeting on discussions about if we move forward with this sewer line through there. So just wanted to report back to you based on what the board had asked me to check in on, and so there were both positive comments back on both of those issues. We just got a notice from MML, some of you that are maybe signed up to go to the MML conference. It will now, it's canceled, and it will be all virtual due to COVID. And so you'll probably be getting additional information, and we'll make sure Kristen gets that out to you all, because they're not going to have no canceled. So it'll be all virtual for them. And with that, Madam Mayor, that's all I have.
Sure. I wanted just to add, I don't think Alderman Turner mentioned it, but talking about the repair of the dams and the bonds, at our last meeting, Alderman Zering requested that City Engineer Martin look at the figures that it would take to address our stormwater issues, and Mr. Ratliff directed Mr. Martin to do that. When I was at the Park Board meeting this past week, the Park Board was very excited that this board is now going to address the situation with the dam. They talked about the fact, you know, that the proverbial kick the can down the road, that had happened for a number of years. And so I want you to know that the Park Board supports the work in getting this issue addressed. One of the Park Board members also asked the same question that you did, Alderman Zering. He said, could we look at the stormwater projects that we know we need to do in town, and could we add those figures to the overall bond? So they're looking at that. So I just wanted you to know, Alderman Zering, that Park Board is right there and tracking with you. We don't have any idea what that's going to look like, but we're certainly going to compile those figures. But I wanted this board to know that the Park Board supports your work, and I do too, and I appreciate you. That's about all I have. Questions from the media? Here's shaking. No?
The heck happened? 6 minutes late and you're done.
That'll teach you, Dennis. That'll teach you. City Attorney, do you have anything for us? Okay. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Additional, I couldn't remember if it was this meeting or the next meeting, supposed to do something back.
It'll be the next meeting that Steve Meyer will report to us, but we have received, he has been in touch with him, and we have received response back. So he'll be reporting to us at our next meeting on the 3rd. You're welcome. Is there any other business before the board? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion from Alderman Davidson, with a second from Alderman Miller to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We're adjourned.